Willie.
It's back.
The Greenberg is running.
Bobby, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong.
I just love the intro. I love the part. Bobby, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. It's like, yeah, that's how it goes for me. How you all doing, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, especially if you're in South Florida. You're watching Fins Talk today on the Fins Talk Sports Network. That's the one and only Fish Tank Hank. I'm Bobby Fins Talk. We appreciate you all tuning in. We got a special day today because the Dolphins play football today. 4 o'clock Eastern.
Swing.
So excited.
I'm in. I'm in for it.
I'm ready to go. I was like, I saw you sitting in your living room, and I was like, he's supposed to be at the game, and I was like, Houston. They're in Houston, dummy. I'm like, okay. But first, before we get started on that, Fish Tank, how are you doing, sir? How's your week so far?
I'm doing great. My mother-in-law Jean is out visiting us. We've had a great time so far.
There you go.
Just things like that. Family is going on. And whenever family's going on, it's usually a good time. You know that.
Yes, sir.
But no, her and I, we're both a little immobile. So it's nice to have someone around that knows my pains and aches.
That's awesome. Got a good laugh out of that one. I like that. There you go. Sharing each other's misery. That's the way to do it. God bless. That's oh my goodness. Let me just say first off, welcome everybody who's in here. Evan Posner in the house of the Fins bandwagon, or the overreaction wagon, I call it. Aladino Moss.
Wait a minute, I'm part of that wagon though.
Yes, you are, but not that much. You're not an overreaction. Maybe right at the moment. But you usually.
I'm just saying, if you're going to bring up the bandwagon with Evan, you got to bring me up too, because you're
on the show.
that is my son. You can't be beating up on him like that.
Yeah. Well, hey, we got Michael Vogel in the house of the bandwagon as well. When he comes back, so Coach awesome. Michael Vogel, Eric Rivera.
Good up, Michael.
Good day, Eric. Hammer time. Up. So everybody tuning in, we appreciate you. We've got so much to talk about. We have an outline, but what's the most important thing to talk about today? The Dolphins are playing football at 4 o'clock Eastern. Okay. Yes, we know game one wasn't very exciting for Dolphin fans. But again, if you judge it from my opinion, you judge it based off individual experience, it's something to be excited about. I mean, A-Chain, Chris Brooks, those guys, Aubrey Miller did very well.
Gaskin was doing well.
Gaskin stood up 57 yards. That's things you look at in game one. Now, game two, because there's only 3 weeks in preseason. Game two, we're going to see. Maybe the starters get a shot. I have it here. I'm going to take a look and see what they say. But now, Easy is Uzukama. Did really well. And Vogel, I'm going to tell you, brother, I don't know if you tuned in last week, but I called him Debo Jr. He had a few receptions, but 2 rushes for like 57 yards.
Yeah, I liked what they were doing with him.
I liked what I saw last week with him. We talked about it, Fish Tank, because they were on Friday night. We had Saturday afternoon. We discussed it. Now it's pregame. Now we're doing the pregame of game 2, and I want to see a little more of that. I want to see, obviously, Uzukama is fighting for a spot, not only on the roster, but especially on the in that rotation of starting receivers.
Yeah.
Cedric Wilson, I think, had
Thanks,
a catch,
babe.
but we're going to catch up on that. Let me make sure I have let me pull this up here. Talk about a little bit about the game. So let's get up to this very quick. Lineup notes and other tidbits. This is on SI.com. Dolphin players not expected to play today because of injuries or recovering from injuries. Wide receiver Jalen Waddle. Armstead, who gave a scare to a lot of people this week. Supposedly he's going to play week 1, or that's where the track is, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But Armstead is out and won't play anything today. Brandon Jones, safety, is still out. Keon Cross in the corner. Gaskin is not expected to play. I'm a little surprised by that. Jalen Ramsey obviously is out till November, December. Alec Ingold not expected to play. Justin Bethel and Braylon Sanders are not expected to play. Head coach Mike McDaniel didn't reveal his quarterback plans for today, or if he was going to start or not, or if he's going to see any action. But he did say that Skylar Thompson most likely will come in first before Mike White. He said that he thinks it's important. Skylar needs an opportunity to play with the same guys that Mike played with, which will probably go it says next week, but he's talking about today. In their second preseason last year, Fish Tank, they used all 3 quarterbacks, Tua, Teddy Bridgewater, and Skylar. So let me ask you this. Cat for Life in the house. Gian.
What's up? Rob, thirsty?
Rob in the house of DolphinsThirsty.com. I mean, awesome content this week from Rob.
Yeah.
He was live with Steve Malloy from camp. I know it's kind of a hiccupy situation, but they had a follow-up show on Dolphins Thirsty. So, guys, if you're thirsty for Dolphins content, go check out DolphinsThirsty.com. Go check out his YouTube channel. And do me a favor, if you're new to the channel here, smash that like and subscribe button as well. But before we move on to more parts of the game, Fish Tank, your thoughts on the quarterback situation or the way it's going to be today. Would you like to see Tua get a couple snaps or a couple series, or would you rather just let the 2 other guys go at it?
Well, I told you last week, I said I'm more of a coach's decision kind of guy. I go with whatever the flow is with that, because it is preseason. They know what they need to see and what they don't need to see. Now, would I like to see one run with the front offense going without Armstead and see who they put in place? Yeah, I'd like to see that. At least the front line play. I don't think Tua necessarily needs to play, but I would like the offensive line to be playing to find out just how bad it is. We need to find out what's going on, and like it or not, you have to play these players. Yeah, there's risk that somebody's going to get hurt. There's always risk, especially in football. So, but you have to put them on the field. You have to let them play. They can't just sit there and do practice all the time. So I say go for it. What do you think?
Yeah, no,
give them a series, at least a series.
Well, in regard to the quarterbacks, I do want to see a series with Tua, at least one. Give us one series with Tua, and then let Skylar come in, get some time with those guys that Mike White played with at the first half, and then get Mike White in there in the fourth quarter or mid third quarter. In regards to offensive line, you're absolutely right. I 100% agree with you. Get that starting offensive line out there for a few series. I don't care if with Tua and Skylar and those, just to go see what they're going to look like without Terran Armstead, if that's the situation.
Figure out what you're going to do at least, because we know that Armstead more than likely will be out a game or a few during the season.
During the season, it doesn't have to be game 1. It could be during the season. It's not an if. It's like if and or when. With that situation.
Yeah. And that goes for any player though. We need to have quality backups. See,
here's my thing, and let me just and I know we're going to segue here, but we'll get back on track. But you and I. But that's something I talked about on Monday night. I was on East 10th Street Boys with Alex, and we touch on everything, but we were talking about the Dolphins, and my thing was, and I brought up Armstead because it was like Alex's thing was, hey, I expect the Dolphins to do this year. Less injuries come into play, then they could do this, and then that's something you have to win. And I said, no, injuries is no longer an excuse. That we know these things happen, and with players like Armstead, Tua, even though we both expect them to play a lot more this year, but players like that, you go and sign these players like an Armstead. You paid a lot of money for him, and this was before the injury, and this was one of my things. And that he gets hurt a lot, so you can figure he's gonna get hurt. Who's his backup tackle? Is it Eichenberg? We don't know. That was the problem. You go in there without any preparation. You said, I'm talking about Greer, you worry more about the offensive line than we do. He said that.
Yeah.
He said that about the fans and the media. But then, of course, Armstead goes down and it's all hellfire. So it's like, yes, it's very sexy to have a player like Armstead on the front of the roster. It's you got Connor Williams, who did very well at center. Robert Hunt. You got maybe Austin Jackson, who looks really good before the start of the season. He looks like he's in great shape. Eichenberg did not look good on Friday night. But but then it's like, what if one of those guys go down? Who's your backup center? Who's your left tackle now?
Yeah.
Is it Kendall Lamb? Is it Eichenberg? Is it Jackson? Do we move? You know what I mean?
Is it Wynn?
And that's my thing. Do you actually feel comfortable with that situation? Alex texted me the next day when we found out that Armstead was hurt, that he got hurt. He goes, "Do you think Isaiah Wynn plays?" I go, "Well, I don't know." I said, it's a kind of an iffy situation. That's my point, because Isaiah Wynn was drafted as a tackle in New England, a number one pick, a first round pick, and he was a bust. So that's my thing. Yes, free agent signings, trades, you could go off and on with draft picks with Greer. Very nice, but when it comes to depth, total F. And it's scary because when these guys go down, you see how fast Dolphin fans are to react. They don't go, "Oh, next man up." It's not about next man up.
No.
We don't have a next man up.
No, and that's why people get so upset when they see somebody hurt. And the problem with that is, Bobby, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question while it's on my mind. This Tua question bothers me with you, okay?
Yeah.
So, you anticipate Tua to get hurt to some degree. Is that what I'm to assume? You assume that he'll be out like I assume Armstead will be out because Armstead always gets hurt. Always.
So does Tua.
And you feel that way with Tua.
And Armstead. Because it's
all right. Well, I'm not including Armstead though now. I'm just saying I was giving my example.
Okay.
So my question is, do you think it's a major injury like a concussion type thing, or do you think it's something like, oh, the dude broke his finger?
With Tua?
Yeah.
Well, the concussions were just last year.
Yeah.
What were the years before that? It's something. It's always something else. So it's
that's what I was asking. That's what I was asking. You're telling me exactly what I wanted to know.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be. And hey, concussions are scary, especially the ones that he had. But again, that goes with any player. He never had really any concussion issues until last year. We'll see what happens this year. I have faith that he's learned to fall better and not hold the ball longer. We'll see. But if you go based off his career, in Armstead, he's only played 13 games last year. He played 13 games the year before. He played a little bit of games, which was more his rookie season, so it doesn't really count. But the years before that, he's always hurt. So
he's always hurt. Yeah.
My assumption
and that's been Tua's. That's what I'm saying. And that's why I was asking.
Yeah.
You just see it like any other quarterback, except he's more prone to injury. And it's not necessarily going to be from him being slammed to the ground with his head. That's all I was asking, Bob. That's all I wanted to get. I just wanted to get to the nitty gritty of that, because a lot of people act like because he had these concussions, that's why we think he might be out. No, he might be out just like any other quarterback that hits his hand on somebody's helmet or something like that.
Exactly. Well, and Vogel, who has coached Michael Vogel, which he is a coach. He coaches, I believe, high school football. And Vogel, you could correct me, brother, if I'm wrong. Vogel does our scouting here at Finstock Sports Network with me. He'll be helping me with the draft. We do our draft podcast.
Right on.
But he goes, and I'm thinking he's talking about Tua here, because we asked about what type of injuries Tua has: hand, ribs, back, head, hip, finger. That was Cap following up. Now, look, yes, in a normal world, like Fishtank says, a quarterback throwing the football hits his hand on his offensive line's helmet, injures his hand. That happens. Now, here's the difference between a quarterback who gets hurt every other year, or he doesn't get hurt often, but then he hurts his finger, he's out. Tua gets hurt every season. That's why it's such a enigma. That's why it's such a story. It's like, okay, if and when he gets hurt. And that's why I say this year, I think he's committed. I do believe that he's committed to playing more than 13 games. I think if he has to go there with one leg and he's holding one leg to his hip and just dragging it just to start 14 games, I think he will, because he knows this is the tag. And that's why this year, that's why I was telling Alex, this year is a no excuse season.
This is it.
Injuries are not an excuse, and that's not for the players. I'm talking about the front office. You knew your quarterback gets hurt. You knew your offensive line gets hurt. You knew there's nobody behind those guys. So if your quarterback goes down and you're relying on Mike White or Skylar Thompson to lead the way, you don't deserve. And we fall flat. You don't deserve you don't deserve another year. If Armstead goes down and your offensive line,
we're talking Greer now.
Well, I'm just saying, if your offensive line, if offensive line falls apart because Armstead gets hurt and you don't have anybody behind him to help, and then Tua gets hurt, there's no excuse. It's like, oh, well, Armstead was hurt, and that you can't blame him for that. No, BS.
Get him, Bobby. Tell him off.
Because you knew these guys get hurt. You don't have to have a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers behind Tua.
Yeah.
But you could go get a more valuable, when a guy comes in, you should be confident that he could lead you to wins. Are we confident at this time that Mike White or Skylar Thompson could lead us to a win? No. They couldn't even score against the Falcons. So, and look, it's only game one. We don't know. Things could happen, right? Surprises could happen. But right now, there's a lot of people saying that this team, our best player on this football team is Tyreek. Okay? That's obvious. But the most important player is Tua. And if Tua goes down, this offense could fall apart. And that's when you go, okay, we need a guy. You can't get a guy who's comparable, but you could get a guy who is that if Tua goes down, win, a guy who could come in and you could go, we're going to be okay. He could win us a game or two. I don't think we have that on this roster. And that's why, to me, it's a no excuse season for the management. Players is different. Okay. Tua gets hurt. Here's the thing. If Tua gets hurt again and Miami says, hey, you know what? We're good. We're going to go look somewhere else. Know damn well some other team's going to go, no, we could go get him.
Yeah.
Tua, it happens.
Plenty of teams knocking at his door.
But when it comes to the front office, this is a no excuse season when it comes to this stuff. Let me just read some comments, Fish Tank, if you don't mind.
All right.
Coach Michael Vogel says, Greer has to figure out offensive line. Trade for healthy. I agree. Yes. I know look, you can hit a lot of gems if you keep going after injury-prone players who are bust, who, and you go, hey, maybe my coaching staff could get the best out of these guys. Hey, look, if you're the Miami Heat, I would be okay with that because the Miami Heat have done that. I'm talking basketball, Fish Tank. But when it comes to the Dolphins have not. You got to go after solid rotational players. You need a solid swing tackle who could play on the right side and the left side if a guy goes down. Dolphins Thirsty Rob is with me. He says, that's what I've been saying. This is the no excuse season.
Let's see. Who do we have that's new in here?
I'm not sure. We got Vocals tuning in for DBs in the house. Cap. We got our usuals here. And again, if anybody's tuning in and you guys want to jump in and talk Dolphins or what, put your comments down below. This is Fish Tank Hank and myself on the Finstock today on the Finstock Sports Network. 23423 in the house. Good to see you, brother. He usually joins us on East 10th Street, boys, so it's good to see him.
Oh, right on.
But I agree. Like, what quarterback would have been a good backup? Andy Dalton. He's been a starter. I obviously don't want him to be your starting quarterback for Miami, but I probably would have been more okay with that than Mike White. That's the truth.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit.
Go ahead, sir.
Because I know you love it when I do that.
Hey.
No, you don't. But anyway, I don't think that they can win us games, but I think they can keep us in games, those two players, to be totally honest with you. I think Skylar Thompson and Mike White, with the offense we have, can keep us in games. Now, can they come in and win games? I don't have that kind of confidence at all. I really don't. It would be a coin toss. And I'm saying if we were going with against a mediocre team for the year, say we get halfway through the year And now we're facing a mediocre team, a team that has a 4-4 record, say, okay? And we turn around and we jump in there with one of these guys. Do I have faith? Well, that's a coin tosser to me. That's what I'm talking about, a coin tosser. And I just think that they could do it. And to answer your earlier question on whether or not I think Tua will play today, I think he'll play.
I think, and let me throw two names out that I just wanted to take a quick look, because you brought up Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton.
Eric, and again, probably been more comfortable. I agree with Fish Tank. In confidence in winning a game, no. Keeping us in it, sure. I mean, Skyler did that. Skyler kept us in games last year. I mean, he wasn't perfect. He was our 7th round pick, 3rd string quarterback. He had no business being in the game, and he did well. And kudos to him. And that's why he has a chance to be a backup quarterback. That 2nd string. Mike White has shown flashes before. I know a lot of close Dolphin fans, friends who are mine, who are really into him. I wasn't, but that's what it is. Now look, veteran quarterbacks, again, these are not starting guys that I would be okay with, but two names that I see right here that I would absolutely been cool with to be our backup, who I think would have done good for Miami if, God forbid, Tua goes down.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan, former Falcons starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And Carson Wentz. And I tell you, again, you got to remember that is that these are backups at this point. These aren't your starters. Look what Joe Flacco did for the Jets. Look what Joe Flacco did when he was the backup guy with their starting young quarterback. He came in and won football games. You had confidence he could do it because he won a Super Bowl. You've seen him do it before. Those guys, like a Matt Ryan and a Carson Wentz, they're not going to be your starters. Don't get me. I know, I'm talking starting quarterbacks. Yes, give me all the eye rolls you can give me. But if you're talking about a backup caliber quarterback who could start for you 1 or 2 games and win you a game at least, those are the guys. I don't have that confidence in Mike White and Skyler, but we could be wrong. But that's just my opinion. Manzano in the house. Yeah, Anthony, always good to see you, brother. This is why we're looking this offseason to sign a backup quarterback. I kept saying we should have gotten Cooper Rush of the Cowboys, Bobby, instead of Mike White. Yeah, Cooper Rush, again, that's somebody who I believe he's won games. I would have been okay with that. But again, I think a solid veteran backup would have been the best way to go. But that's just me. Talking about injuries, Fish Tank.
Yes, sir.
Going back, let me just say, okay, we know Jalen Waddle, Armstead, Brandon Jones, Crossan, Ramsey, Ingold, Bethel, Braylon Sanders, and then running back Myles Gaskin supposedly will not play today due to injuries.
He probably just got chipped up a little bit, has a sore knee or something. Is not going to get out there.
Man, I hate that for him because he did so well last week, and he needs to. And this is what I said. When I saw the way he was performing, and finally when I got to finish it, my thing was like, do I think he earned a spot on this roster? I don't think it's there yet, but I do think he helped his trade value.
Yes.
He's not going to be a cut. I think I could see him as a trade, and maybe that's what's going on here. If he does not play today, maybe the Dolphins are talking trade. I saw something crazy yesterday. I didn't decide to retweet it or anything like that. What's up, Fred? Thank you for tuning in, brother. We appreciate you. Fins up, man. Smash that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. But something crazy I saw yesterday. I don't know if anybody else saw this. I meant to text Rob because Rob and I usually go back and forth on rumors or things that break. But supposedly the Colts and the Dolphins have talked Jonathan Taylor. That's something I saw yesterday or have been talking. Don't know how true that is. That's why I didn't say nothing about it. But I thought that was very interesting. We'll see. Too many realistic takes today. Evan in the house. What's up, Evan?
Too realistic.
Jeanne, is that the right way to say your name? I know there's different ways to say, and I hope I'm saying it right. I'm so happy to see you on the channel. Thank you for tuning in, Fred, as well. Jeanne says, "Fins up. I hope Tua doesn't get hurt." We all.
No, that's Gene.
Gene. Thank you, sir. Thank you. See, there's different ways. I'm used to. There's somebody at work whose name is like I thought when I first met it was Gianna. Then it said Gina. So it's like always this.
No,
weird,
that's just Gene.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.
I'm here for you, man. And I can mess up a name, but I know that name.
We're gonna tell you right when you have a young quarterback. Bobby, honestly, I think these rumors that the Colts are going to trade Jonathan Taylor are BS because why are you going to trade your running back when you have a young quarterback? Let me just say this, Anthony, in regards to the Colts situation. First of all, why would you trade Jonathan Taylor? Because Jonathan Taylor wants to get paid. The owner does not want to pay him apparently that much money. Jonathan Taylor is not happy right now, holding out. Okay, they're saying he's hurt, that they don't want him to play when he says, I'm not hurt. There's a lot of drama going on.
We don't even have a chance at Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, well, my thing is this. In regards to the Jonathan Taylor, why would they do it? Because it's just where it is. Now, Jonathan Taylor, I think, is a free agent next year, but I think that's why they're saying he's hurt, so they could have that contract roll over. Look, if we had a chance at Jonathan Taylor, I'm all for it. The way I felt for, people were saying about Dalvin Cook, give me Jonathan Taylor all day. All day.
I don't want him. Too expensive.
Day.
Too expensive.
He's
cost
worth
our
the
team
money.
way too much.
He's worth the money. You
No.
want a Super Bowl? He's worth the money.
No.
Show him the money.
No, show Wilkins the money.
He's not worth it. He's not worth more than that. $20 million, whatever he wants. I think he's worth money. I think we should pay him, but not the amount that I saw.
Yeah.
But that's here
a
or
whole
there.
Other story now.
That's here and there. I just said I saw that. Let's not get in it. But anyway, me and Fish, they could go all day. Trust me, we'll debate. We love doing it. It's all love. I'm telling you. We'll go at it all the time.
By the way, I just want to point out.
Yes, sir.
Jean is my mother-in-law.
Oh, there you go.
So
Awesome.
she asked my wife earlier about the show, so she told her about the show. So welcome, Jean.
Welcome to the show, Jean. Thank you.
That's how I know the name so well.
Talk about it. Come in. My mother-in-law never tunes in. My mother-in-law's named Jeannie. Jeannie is her name. Same type of spelling, but with the Y at the end after one of the ends. But she never tunes in. So your mother-in-law is sweeter than mine, apparently.
I got the best.
Yeah, there you
best
go.
out there. Sorry,
Why not just develop? Hey, look, Fred, Chris Brooks has been doing great in camp. I was excited before preseason game 1. I'm excited after preseason game 1. When you're an undrafted free agent with the starting backs that we have with Mozart and Wilson, and now we know A-Chain's going to get that opportunity. I don't know how much of an opportunity he has to make the opening day roster, but I'm all with you. If we could secure him, maybe give him, pay him to be on the practice squad, or let's say I'm excited about seeing him in these next 2 games. If he can make the roster, I'm all for it. If we could develop an undrafted free agent to be a good back, I'm all for it. But we'll see how far it goes. I do believe that he has an opportunity. If I'm Miami, I would pay him a lot of money to be on the practice squad so he doesn't get picked up. Because I like what I've seen so far, and I love what I've heard from camp. He's a dark horse. I absolutely believe that, man. I do. It hurts hearing fans say Wilkins isn't worth $20 million. You got to remember what he does well and what he doesn't do well. Okay. I love Wilkins. I think what he misses out on, he makes up for it with his heart. The passion he carries for the team, what you see on the field when they make big plays, he is right there. It doesn't matter if it's offense or defense. I love Wilkins, but $20 million is a little rich for me. It's a little rich.
What?
$20 million a year is a little rich. Come on.
If that's what they're paying people, pay them.
No, that's fair. I'll take that. That's fair.
Honestly, if that's the going rate, give it to them.
Fish, keep your fair takes for the bandwagon.
Hey, you know what? Next year, it'll cost more. So pay them. Pay them. Just pay them.
Oh, goodness. That's fair. So, DeMarco Ryans, McDaniel's former colleague with the 49ers, he says rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud will get the start for his team for the second start. He did play last week, and it wasn't great. He finished the evening last week with 2 drives, 2 of 4 passes for 13 yards, and his first drive ended with an interception. So Miami's defense should make it look easy today, I would hope. So
should make it look easy.
They should, right?
I don't know. So? Every time we turn around, we're missing a new cornerback.
Well, we still have Xavier Howard unless he gets caught up I mean, I know there's some stories coming out that he did something stupid. He's been doing something, which again, is not news to me. I mean, with him, but if he's going to play, but I don't know. I didn't see Cam Smith in those list of names. Hopefully, Cam Smith could play. Nick Needham. There's still some decent corners. We got a lot of good corners. It's one of our deepest units next to receiver, I think. So yeah,
they keep bringing them in for some reason.
Oh my goodness! I mean, Bryce Thompson is another one they brought in. I'm like, they keep
that's what I'm saying.
In.
They keep bringing them in. We can't be that set.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
I mean, come on. Why do they keep bringing people in? There's something that we don't see. And I'm concerned. But we're going to find out today when we watch them play.
Scotty, the franchise tag number for Wilkins is around $22 million. Okay, that would be the average for defensive linemen then, which is the way I would go. But he's sitting in now, so a new contract is. I think a new contract's about to come down the pipe. I think a new contract.
That's what I'm saying. I'm right there with you, Scotty. I agree 100%. Pay the man, because you're just going to be paying him more next year anyway. Unless they just want to franchise, can they franchise tag him a year? Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what Cap asked, and Scotty said, what's the franchise tag number? And he says around 22. I think 18. Well, and there's Eric. See, my number would be 18. Eric says 17 per Wilkins for 5 years. He should save him. That's what I think. I don't see some crazy high number like that. I could see a lower 18. The 17 million would be great, and a higher bonus. 22 a year, 20 a year. No, there's too much.
Okay, I agree with that. If you're going to bonus him, that's fine.
And I think
that's
what
Miami's bonus him like crazy.
Yeah. They're going to make him happy. He wants to be here. They want him here. They just have to find the right number.
Yeah, you're right. I still think that number's – I think it's a little higher than you're saying, though, in my opinion. I think with Scotty, I think he'll make the 20 to 22 million.
He will if they bonus him.
You don't think he'll get a contract for that? All right.
Like I said, the number in my head is 18. And then Eric came up with the 17 right
Mine's there. Mine's 20 to 22. I'm with Scotty.
I got you. I think it goes like that after the bonus. But we'll wait and see. Hopefully it happens soon because we don't want to lose him. Or lose him for nothing like they did Gesicki. See here. Hey, let me ask you this.
Michael. I agree, Michael.
He's a healthy lineman.
He's fair. Somebody on the team that's healthy. Pay him.
That's true. That's fair.
How's that for realistic, Bobby?
Realistic for me. There you go. Tarny Man in the house. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. They should have gave Chubb money to instead. They should have gave the Chubb money. I believe that's what he said. Yeah, gave the Bradley Chubb money to Wilkins and Sealer. Make sure we re-sign those guys instead of extending him.
Absolutely.
We'll see what happens with Chubb this year. I don't hate on the Chubb move. Not yet. I mean, he helped. I think he did help Jalen Phillips. I expect more of that this year, and I expect better play from Chubb with Vic Fangio. And I'm excited about seeing a healthy Akpa on that line. I think we should wait and see before we crap on Chubb or his money. See what they can do.
Yeah, I like those two players. They get a lot of money, so I hope that they either use them to their advantage somehow, or what do they have just this year, and then their contracts are up, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know. So these guys out here are so smart; they probably know. I mean, come on! Every time we ask a question, they know the answer.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Please be top three. Aladino, man, always good to see you. He says he agrees. 17 and a half, no more for Wilkins. This pass rush better be top three. I agree with Cap for that. Fred believes Wilkins should be built around, if you ask me. That's what Fred says. There you go. Not a fan. We know that. Rob says he's not a fan of the Chubb trade, but he hopes that he gets proven wrong, which we all do when we have these takes that may piss off some people. I hope I'm wrong. If you pay Christian Wilkins over $20 million and he's one of the top defensive players in the league or defensive player of the year candidate, I'm all for it. Chubb is a Fangio guy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, remember he did well
Chubb
with Fangio
to have a better year this year. I think fans. I'm not gonna say eat words because Rob has every right as a Dolphins fan to feel like, hey, he wasn't a fan of that trade. Just because Chubb is a Dolphin doesn't mean that we have to be a fan of it automatically. It's up to Chubb and his play to prove Rob wrong. That's fine. It doesn't mean you got to eat words or nothing. Hey, we're all Dolphin fans here. Steve Malloy says it on Real Talk. We could all disagree. We could all have something we disagree with, but we can't disagree that we're Dolphin fans. We all agree on that.
Exactly.
Hey, I want to talk to you. We touched on the Armstead stuff. We don't have to go there. We know he's projected to start, hopefully, in week 1. Still sucks that he got hurt. It's scary. That's why fans overreact, because we don't have depth. We all say on paper we look good, and then when one of those guys get hurt, we're like, oh, crap. So it tells you the issue with depth. But Dalvin Cook, you and I haven't touched on it. We've talked about Dalvin Cook to Miami for a while. That was being teased a lot. He ends up going to the Jets. I don't think he chose Aaron Rodgers over Tua. I think that's BS. Okay, I think that's Dalvin's team, and then the media popping that up in New York saying, oh, look what he did. And, of course, fans are going to jump on that. I think he chose the more money to go to New York over Miami. That's all it was. Miami was not going to give him that money. But I know you were a huge proponent of Dalvin Cook or paying him, but you and I haven't touched on it. I know you've had some time to digest it. How are you feeling about Miami not getting Dalvin Cook now?
I still say the same thing I said before. They should have gave him the $6 to $7 million and brought him in.
Okay. So you think it's a mistake that they did not do that?
What were they trying to give him, 4?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's a couple $1 million? I mean, now you got to play against them. That's in your own division. So that's twice you got to face. You just put a 1,000-yard rusher in someone else's pocket against you. No, that would have been worth $2 million just not to have him on the other side, in my opinion. But
yeah,
that's just my opinion. It doesn't count for beans. But I think that they should have, I think they should have got him, and they screwed up by not getting him.
Let me just say, Scotty had a comment here, and then I see Mark in the house. Good to see you, Mark. Thank you for tuning in, brother. Kendall Lamb is looking like a really solid swing tackle. I've been impressed with him at this training camp. That's what I've been hearing, is that Kendall Lamb's been doing really well. And I want to say I'm going to watch him today. I want to watch him a lot more. Saw a little bit of Lem last week. I want to watch him more this week. So that could be a hidden gem. I'd be excited for that. Mark says, what is going on with Dolphins management? Bad assistant coaching hires, bulky gate, cocaine snorting O-line coach, trades, and overpaid contracts for over bad choices, tampering loss of picks, etc. You're reading 20 years of Dolphins history there, Mark. We're hoping I'm returning that corner. It's just hey, brother, it is the joy of being a Miami Dolphins fan. We love what we see on the field. It's off the field that we have issues with, with all this, those things there. But hey, hopefully this is the year that we don't have to worry about that stuff. Rob says, yes, all being equal or close, Cook is a Dolphin. It would be in Miami. Yes, I 100% agree with that. He didn't choose Aaron Rodgers over Tua. As Cap says, he chose the Benjamins over Tua or Miami. He's going to regret it. We're taking the Jets down. I agree. I'm pissed he's still in the AFC East. Yes, I don't like that Cook signed with the AFC East, but it is what it is. Cook won't make 8 either. My guess is closer to 7. Yeah, taxes, right? I didn't get a really good idea to see the contract too much. I know he got paid more, but contracts, the taxes in New York kind of killed.
That's why I say pay him 6 to 7. He would have made the same amount, and he would have came here.
I think he's right. I think it was a 1-year deal. Scotty, please tell me what you've seen in multi-year cut Kendall Lamb. Is he better than George Fant, who you passed on, who Miami passed on?
No, I thought Cook was a 2-year.
He might be a 1 year with an option after. I don't have it. I got to see the Red Sox stomp on the Yanks. Then got some Dolphins football. There you go. It is a good day. It's a beautiful day outside. Dolphins play football today. Can't get better than that. Early too. 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock my time. I'm in Central right now, so I'm excited about that. Fish State, what are you most looking forward to for today in today's game? What players are you looking to watch?
I'm going to watch the cornerbacks a lot, actually.
The secondary, okay.
Being they keep just bringing in the secondary, I got to watch that. I got to, I want to see if something's going on. I'm starting to get concerned. And, I don't usually get concerned. And this is a concern to me that they continue to bring people in. They must be looking for somebody to do something specific. And I don't know what it is that they're looking for, but I'm going to try to see if they give any flashes of anything today that might be a hint toward what's going on. That's all. I also want to see our offensive line out there without Armstead to see who that they put at the left tackle. I want to see those types of things too. I'm interested in how Tua does today because he needs reps. He needs live reps. So hopefully he'll get some. Like I said, it's all a coach's decision, of course, but there's quite a bit I'd like to see. The running backs, I think we know what we have in the running backs other than A-Chain. It's still not really sure what he's got or doesn't have. I'm hoping that they don't use whoever they think their main players are as running backs. How's that? Because if they get hurt, then we don't have running backs to start the season. And then we are right back where we were before. And I like what we have in our running back room, regardless of the Cook deal. I like who we have in our running back room. But he would have definitely improved it.
I think you're right on the money with the running back.
He would have added stability. That's all.
For sure. I mean, and I'm with Scotty says it. We actually, Fishtank and I talked on this a little bit, Scotty. When we noticed that the Cook situation was dragging out, where there was other running backs that we talked about Ezekiel Elliott, who's now a Patriot. We talked on another guy, but Fournette was one of the guys that I was like, hey, I think Fournette would be good pass catching wise. Running back, I think he'd be a good fit for the team. Kareem Hunt, I'm not sure. I know he's been visiting teams, but he hasn't got any signs. But here's the thing. You see, I agree with Fishtank. We should have signed Cook. Still don't trust Mostert and Wilson's injuries. That's the whole thing with no excuses this year. I don't want to hear it. If Mostert and Wilson go down, because they have gone down before, they have a history of it.
They'll be gone.
That's my thing. And I don't want to hear anybody say, oh, well, Wilson was hurt, and then Armstead was hurt, and Tool went down. No. When it comes to this front office, that's done. See, and that's the thing, Mark. That's where I'm with you on front office. It's just the constant no depth situation for the Dolphins. Controversial players with the players making stupid decisions. Howard, what happened with Tyreek, which just looked like it's taken care of. We'll see. Those things, that's player things, okay? But when it comes to front office decisions, like, getting this guy, building the front of the roster really nice, but then when you stock the back of the roster, that's why players freak out. That's what I'm worried about. I will, Anthony, let me check it out. Last comment about Christian Wilkins that I sent to Hank.
I'm sorry. I missed it.
Yeah. Well, that's scrolling all the way up there, Anthony. We passed that part, but let me go up and see if I could find it for you. Hank, I understand why you say pay Wilkins, but in my honest opinion, if I was the general manager, I'm not going to pay an elite run defender like Wilkins 19 to 25 a year if he doesn't offer any pass rush.
True.
Well, and that's why I'm not.
That's fair enough.
20 million.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah. I see that's fair. But that's where I stand in regards to that 22 million. Now 18, 17 and a half. That's okay. I'm cool with that, but that's okay. That's cool. Let me, Evan,
make a great point.
Let's see. And Evan says, I stepped away for a few as George was getting upset. Serenity now. What did we say that upsetted you? About Wilkins? Oh, overreaction wagons time. I feel like we are doing the feats of strength. Scotty, you know where I stand ground. I pound December, baby, 1,000%. I may have my first reaction by 4:11. Yeah. Well, I'll be seeing that as soon as the game starts, Evan. The season's over. Oh, you gotta love it, man. But I'm looking forward to watching this offensive line. I want to see these running backs. I want to see Cedric Wilson, Uzukama, Braxton, Robbie Chose. I want to see those. I want to see the tight ends. I want to see better work from the tight ends. That's what I'm looking forward to today. Aubrey Miller. I want to see how he does this year. But Kendall Lamb, Austin Jackson, the
comments over here are hilarious.
They're
man.
doing it's amazing. They're doing great. And keep them coming. We are enjoying them. But that's what I'm looking for.
I try not to read them. I try to pay attention to you folks, but you got the comments are getting good.
Yeah, they are. They are. Serenity now, insanity later. Amen, brother. That's the Dolphin season. Serenity now, insanity later. I love
That's
it,
the
Cap.
way it works.
Love it.
Definitely, Cap.
I love it. Let's see here. So yeah, we talked about 3 players to watch. Last time Miami played Houston it was a few years ago in preseason, and Houston won. Doesn't really matter. It's a preseason.
Yeah.
But here, let's not talk about wins or losses here, Fish Tank, because it doesn't matter win, lose, or draw in preseason. A team can go 0-3 in preseason and go win the Super Bowl, the next year. But let's say it like this. Last week, the Dolphins did not score a touchdown, offense or defensively. Today, against Houston, do they score a touchdown? Four points, 2 safeties. Okay, well, I think that's okay.
4 touchdowns today.
4 touchdowns.
Yep.
We got midseason Hank in the house.
No.
Tell me.
I'll just tell you why. First of all, the 2 backups have had full series. They both had halves to play.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first part of it. So they're all ready to play. Our starters aren't going to come out and play a real long time if they do play. Okay, they'll probably come out, get a touchdown, and go back home. You know what I mean? For the most part with our starters. That's how our starters are going to go. Defense, I don't know. Defense is always different. With starters and who's going to be in and who's not going to be in. They play defense sometimes a little longer. Not always, but sometimes. I'm not really sure what they're going to be doing, but I lost my train of thought.
I got you. 4 touchdowns.
Yes, 4 touchdowns. And the reason why is because I think the offense will come out, throw a touchdown. One of the other 2 quarterbacks will put 2 in, and the other one will put 1 in. That's what I think, based on
a touchdown, a quarterback. 1 touchdown for 1. So all 3 quarterbacks at least get 1 touchdown.
Yes, and I think one of them will get 2. I think whoever plays second, whichever quarterback plays second, will get 2 touchdowns.
Okay, so there you go. Fred agrees with you. He says all 3 quarterbacks will throw a touchdown. Again, I'll tell Cap, you said Easy E equals Debo. I said it last week after seeing when I saw Debo 2.0. Hey, you never know. He might be standing in for another player. Maybe
Fred's right. Tua needs to play somebody too.
Yeah, he does.
He needs to play. He needs to get in there and get hit. Bottom line, he needs to get in there and be hit.
I'm going to say, just to split down the middle, I'm going to go with 2 touchdowns from the Dolphins offensively. Yeah. I think a couple field goals are in play, obviously, but I do believe 2 touchdowns are in play for Miami today. I think they're obviously going to score 2 more than what they did last week. I think that was, somebody needs to score a touchdown. I don't care what quarterback, who it is. It just needs to be a touchdown.
You got to remember, there were turnovers.
Sure. And that's what preseason's for. Fix it now, because we don't want it next. We don't want it game 1.
Hey, you get in the red zone, you should score.
100,000% score.
Got to score. You had 4 tries. Got to score. Instead, you turn it over.
Mark says, I get so frustrated from hearing from the majority of Finn fans who keep ignoring or telling me depth isn't an issue. Then Armstead goes down and panic in the fan base occurred. That's what we discussed earlier in the show.
Yeah, I've been saying depth's an issue.
Yeah, and you might not be talking about us, but Mark, I agree with you. Depth is an absolute issue, and you're right. That's something we just talked about as well. You want to know how depth's an issue? We love our starting unit. We love, the idea of Tyreek, Jalen, Tua, Armstead, Bradley Chubb, Agba, Wilkins, Howard, Ramsey. Looks all really good. any one of those guys go down, like a Ramsey and Armstead, hellfire and brimstone. God forbid Tua goes down. If Tua goes down, all the fire starts. And that's when you realize, holy crap, our depth is not great, and hasn't been great. And that's one of my biggest issues. Fins up to all Dolphins. AJ Dewey. But hey, guys, listen. I may do a post-game show today or tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. Kid's sick. We'll see how that goes down. But if we do, you'll see it on Twitter. You'll also see it up on here. So if you like and subscribe, hit that bell. You can get notified. We got a new show. We got plenty of shows on the channel. Great content. I'll say Finn's Talk today on Saturday. Me and Fish Tank. We're here every Saturday at noon. Been doing this for a while. We have fun doing it. Mondays, we got Beer and Sports at 8:15, 9 o'clock. We have East 10th Street Boys. Tuesday, we got another great Dolphin show. Real Talk Finn's Talk with Rob of Dolphins Thirsty and Steve Malloy. We got what other Tuesday show do we have here? Fast Break. Wednesday, we got fantasy football. Fantasy football's coming up. We're going to do a fantasy football league on the network. We're going to have a special show. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a blast with that. But hey, got anybody who's into fantasy football, check out Once Upon a Sunday at 8 o'clock on Wednesday nights. Josh Kimmel, Justin, and Dave. They got a great show. I mean, guys, you want to beat your fellow coworkers in your fantasy league or your buddies? Tune into that show. It's great. Thursday, we got the Finns bandwagon. Fish Tank Hank, Evan in the house. Evan is the driver. Hank is the backseat driver. I like that term. I saw it the other. And then, of course, you got No Holds Barred wrestling. We got great content. We're going to have the Dolphins post-game shows coming up again. It's going to be a blast. So, everyone, if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. Check out Rob on DolphinsThirsty.com. And we will go from there. Fish, any final words, my friend?
No, I hope that everybody stays healthy today, and I hope we just smack the Texans a little bit with our backups.
That's right. Cap, Rob, Hammer Time, Scotty.
And fins up to everybody out
Mark,
there. Thank
Fred,
you for tuning in.
Gene, Evan, everybody tuning in, whether you commented or not. We appreciate you. Smash, remember to like, subscribe, and most importantly, fins up. We'll see you guys next Saturday.